Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to the channel. Tide Cycling here. So I'm still debating on what I should do. Normally the weekend is reserved for endurance riding with the Cycle Nation group rides. And they either already started or they're just about to start. And I actually did sign up for it, but now I'm having second thoughts because yesterday I was on the same ride and they then would push to a little bit more than 2 watts per kilo. And I do see that my heart rate is then running away at some point, meaning we are probably still not quite 100%. And I do try to trust my watch a little bit more. My trusted Garmin, who's telling me today to do like an endurance ride for I think a little over an hour, like an hour and a half or something, at 130 watts. And yesterday it was actually telling me to do the same wattage, or the same power, but for more than 2 hours. And 130 watts is about 1.7 watts per kilo for us, and we actually pushed it to north of 2, and that was probably a little bit too much. So I think I do know what I want to do. So I first looked here on Zwift and thought maybe I'll just find a robo pacer. There are plenty of options here, either going for the 1.6 watts per kilo or 1.8. I would have then probably chosen the one that is 1.8. But I also saw that today the worlds that are open, France is open, besides Watopia and Paris. So Paris, you can see that we finished the 2 rides that are available there, but in France, there are still 2 that I'm actually particularly interested in. This one here, Petit Boucle, Buckle. I want to stick with Boucle. If you know how to pronounce it, please leave me a comment. Or the last one here, Tire Bouchon. I would assume that's pronounced, but no idea. And this, either of those 2, I think will do for today. It would also leave open to potentially do a 100K ride if the legs are still feeling fine. But if not, then just do the route at here, let's say 60 something odd kilometers with 500 vertical meters, and then get the route badge, which is also something that we are very interested in. Use this as a recon, just if there's ever a race on this particular course or on parts of that course. And that seems like the best option. So I think I will choose this today. And also, if we finish this ride, we would get 1220 XP points. That would also be nice. So let's try to get into that vault. So you can see that Zwift is loading the World of France. So let's see. Yep. So we are maximized on the screen and we get going. So let's just see how that goes. I'm not particularly familiar with this route. I think I must have been on parts of that route at any of the other route that I already finished in France, RGV being one of them that I actually rode on a couple of times. But so we'll see. So I'll just put my earphones in for some music and some support on getting the legs spinning. And then we'll be on our way. Also, for whatever reason, you can see that the steering is on. So I'm not quite sure why or what I did in particular to have that on, but doesn't really change anything. So as you can probably tell by the way how bright it is, it's quite bright outside today, but the air quality is pretty poor. So very happy to yet again being inside and doing my cycling here. Also have an air purifier running just so I don't breathe in any bad things from the outside. So let's just try to keep an eye on average watts and heart rate. So we are getting slowly up with the power. Started off very slowly, but now we're trying to then get up to speed. First warm up, of course, a little bit, and then get up to speed. Yeah, I also started looking into alternatives for microphone because this one is dangling quite a bit, and it does seem as if people find the kind of content that I'm putting out here quite useful. So I'm very happy to see that. And of course, if you do feel that this gives you something, maybe, having this run in the background while you're riding on an indoor trainer, and let's say maybe you don't have Zwift, or you have thought about getting Zwift for some time, but you haven't committed yet, wanted to see if this is something for you, then hopefully this would, answer that question for you. I have to say I started Zwifting in October of last year, and I find that to be, extremely addictive in a good sense. Very nice social activities on Zwift. Social rides available for all different kinds of riders, weekend warriors and racers, professionals that using it for their winter training programs. Anything is possible here on Zwift, so highly recommend it. And as you can see, the graphics, it's very well made. It's very detail oriented. You can definitely recognize where you are. Yesterday I rode Scotland, and I used to live in Scotland for a couple of years. And I tell you, if you hadn't told me what world it is or where it's located, my first guess would have been definitely UK. And with a gun to my head, I would have said, it's probably Scotland. And same is true for other worlds as well. I used to go actually to France for summer vacation every year with a good friend of mine for surfing at the Atlantic Ocean in the far south of the West Coast. And absolutely loved it. It was a very, very small little town called Petit Boucle. which I guess loosely translates to something like a beautiful view. Yeah, and we always stayed on the same campground. Just had to go over the dunes, and yeah, there the Atlantic Ocean was. Lots of boogie boarding. The town Petit Boucle, or it's more like a village, is very close to the nearby towns of Osgore or Osgore, Capoton, where yeah, lots of international surf competitions were held in the past, and yeah, very cool place. Very good surfer vibe. Lots of like surf shops and yeah, I don't know. Then a lot of people riding or driving their T1 VW buses from the 60s, and all restorated and modernized. Yeah, just really cool place to be. If you haven't been, highly recommend you do. It's just a very cool area. Also not far to Spain. I think the first town behind the border is San Sebastian. Maybe I'm wrong, but there's like also a very small town that, yeah, I absolutely love to go to. Good food, nice shops. Yeah, good times, good times. Anyways, oh, sorry. Yeah, I'm trying to get my tired legs moving. Have been doing 200 and I think 70K so far this week. And if we finish this loop, then yeah, we should also be making our weekly goal of 310K, which, you know, would be nice, because the plan is to do 15,000 kilometers for this year. And as such, with, you know, 50 weeks, and probably not going to be possible to ride all 50 weeks. Vacation, work, illness. So it's always good to do a little bit more than the bare minimum. And also the 15,000, if it was just simply 15,000, this would not allow us to get up to level 50, because for that there's about 17,500 kilometers left, and level 50 is very cool because it's where the fire socks come in, and they just look cool, and I definitely want them. So that's the plan for this year, to make it up to level 50. The ways to get there is, of course, you can ride the kilometers, but you can also do help yourself by going on routes that you haven't unlocked yet. And this is one of the reasons why I am in France today on this Petit Boucle. I'm not really sure how to pronounce this, but the XP points released the first time you finish this route, and you get a route badge. It's, I think, 1220 XP points, which is the equivalent of 61 kilometers ridden. So meaning you don't have to ride those, still get the points. And that means that we might not have to ride all 17,500 kilometers this year and still make it to level 50, which would be very cool. Yeah, they are still like there's another route here on in France of some 60 odd kilometers, 63 I think, or 64, that I haven't ridden yet. And then there's two more, La Reine and Ventop, which are essentially climbing routes. I think La Reine is like 1200 vertical meters. Ventop is 15 or 1600. Yeah. And the goal, of course, is for this year to finish all available routes on Zwift. And yeah, Yorkshire is done, Paris is done, Mercury Island is done, New York is done. Yeah, here in France, after this one, there's 3 more left. Then there are a couple in London that are still left. And yeah, in Mercury Island, in Batopia as well. But Batopia I will leave until the end, because Batopia is always available. And so there's no pressure to get to those before, let's say, the second half of the year, or if there's only worlds available that are already completed. So yeah, so for instance, if France was completed and the other one today is Paris, which is also completed, yeah, then maybe I would have chosen a ride in Batopia. But it makes more sense to finish those that are available only at some point throughout the month before going after the routes that are always available. All right, so the average power is getting closer and closer to 130, which is great. Our beats per minute, heart rate is 114, which corresponds to zone 1, just a couple of beats away from zone 2, which hopefully we will stay in for then the remainder of this ride. I'm not planning on going into zone 3 today. Yeah, this is supposed to be a baseline ride, baseline endurance. Stick with zone 2 as long as I can. Might get it a little spicy towards the end, when if there's a sprint, I might want to see if what my sprinting power is at the moment. I did get over 1,000 watts before, and also I think I don't know if it's average 5-second power or 10-second power on Zwift power is was just above 1,000 watts, and I have been racing for quite a bit recently, but I was already so shattered when it got when it got close to the final sprint, that there was just zero sprinting in me. So using a ride like today is perfect to just see what max power I can put out. But yeah, we'll see. We'll take it slow. It's a long ride. We'll take it slow for now and just make sure that heart rate and power are low. Max zone 2 for heart rate. Power around 130 on average. If it gets a little bit higher, I wouldn't complain. I think 1.8 watts per kilo would also be fine. But what would 1.8 watts would be 77 plus 56 plus 56, 61.6, 61, 137 and a half. So this would be 1.8 watts per kilo, which would also be okay. Yeah, if I had known that I last minute decide to go on this ride here in France and not on the Cycle Nation ride, I would have probably started a little bit earlier, because that would leave the option to actually do 100K, which would also be nice to do. I haven't done 100K in quite some time. In a day I have, but not on one ride. And again, the Cycle Nation, they average usually around 2 watts, a little bit higher than 2 watts per kilo. And yeah, after some illness the last month, still trying to find our way back to form. Anyhow, no complaints here, just stating the obvious, that we are just not back up to 100% yet. But all good, still fighting and doing actually alright in some of the races. Just upgraded to the C category a month ago or so. I tried a couple of times in December of last year, and on the very last ride of the year, on the very last race, I actually came in first in the C-Cat, which was nice. And then I decided, okay, maybe it's time to move to completely move and focus on the C category. The FTP before was already then C-Cat. So as such, I was not even allowed in the D category anymore, which is fair enough. And I do not understand all the cheating that's going on here on Zwift with, weight doping and sandbagging, not updating your numbers when you get stronger and still riding in lower categories. I really don't get it, but be that as it may, I do update my weight and my power if I got new numbers, but I do that trailing the real numbers, always on the cautious side. So as an example for the weight, Yeah, so I recently made it to like 76 kilos, but the number on Zwift was still 78. So I updated that to 77, just because I thought, okay, there might be a little bit of bouncing around, might go up a kilo, it might go down half a kilo. And I didn't want to be in the situation where I take advantage of the nature here on Zwift, where, yeah, you're essentially allowed to put in your own numbers, and only for the top category will there be any, testing or scrutiny in those numbers. Anyhow, I just saw that we briefly ventured into zone 2, but now we're back in zone 1. And with our power, we are now really closing in at 130 average. We're at 129 at the moment. So beautiful, those sunflower fields here on the right. Seems like we are in luck and have very good weather, which is always nice. Yeah, I see a lot of people from the Cycle Nation ride actually giving me ride-ons. So I better return the favor. Yeah, sorry guys, I apologize, but I decided to do my own thing today. So here would be another sprint, which means that we'll use our aero boost, because we're gonna get the new one in some time. Yeah, if this is towards the end of the route, I actually might try to go for a little sprint here. Not too long, although it is like 333 meters. That can be quite painful. It's not quite half a kilometer as some of the other sprints, but it's also not, 150 meters like some other sprints are. Okay, oh, look at that. 20% is already done. And time flies when you have fun. So 25 minutes times 5, 125. So it should just be like a little over 2 hours. Let's see. We'll probably gonna lose some average speed over the mountains, because there is, I think, 500 vertical meters or so on this route. All right, it seems like there's another arch there. Oh, I think this might be the KOM, the aqueduct. If it is, then we'll leave our feather until then. Yeah, as always, I'm not very familiar with all of these routes. But it looks like it's the aqueduct. Let's give a ride on to our Japanese compatriot here. Thanks for the ride on back. Much appreciated, buddy. Oh, somebody's going to be sprinting up this hill. So it's going to get a little bit steeper. Yeah, somewhere over here maybe. So we'll use the featherweight. So it seems like my best time on this aqueduct was 35 seconds or so. I can actually also see the numbers of the Cycle Nation ride. Cycle Nation is on this particular, or part of this course, on RGV, which also has the aqueduct KOM. And you can see there the second person, 46.99. It says CN. So I think those were just going through here. All right, I didn't pay attention. So we didn't get the now power up, which probably means that we got XP points. So I'm not sure. We probably got the small one, which is 10. Only very rarely would you get 250, which luckily happened to me a couple of days ago. It happened to me on 2 consecutive days. It was very cool and certainly helped making it to level 29. Yeah, this feels nice. I really don't want to jinx it, but this feels like, something I could actually do for hours. I should have probably not said that. So feel free to laugh at me if, in like 10 minutes or so I say, oh, F me, this is hard. I'm getting off the bike. Yeah, feel free to laugh at me. That's fine. So I think we come now to the area with all the balloons, hot air balloons, and then some wiggly bits. And then I think there's one more sprint down in the valley, in the village. But it might also be that we came here from the other side, so I might be very confused. Again, I don't really pay attention to the map beforehand. I try to change that, especially when it comes to races. I do try to find out where the climbs are, just to be, in a good position, not dangling off the back end of the group when the climb starts, and trying to hang on for dear life. Yeah, I recently did the race stage 5B of the Flattest Fast, and I saw, when we were still in the racing pens, that people were discussing the result of 5A, which I didn't do on that day. And someone was saying, oh, I upload the video later on YouTube, and his YouTube channel is On The Rivet, R-I-V-E-T. Very nice guy from Australia, Nathan. And so I actually watched this video then afterwards, because it just so happened that we were both in the same group, in the front group of that race. And as always, I lost sight of how many people are in front of me, and I honestly thought, okay, this is here fighting for the minor places. Didn't pay attention and thought, okay, there's no real value here in sprinting. And to be honest, I was already quite cooked, so it's not only that. But then I found out that this very group was actually sprinting for first, second, and third. And so I came in 6th or 7th or 8th. And so I watched the video back and left a comment on this video because it's very nice quality. And and then he also left a comment and saying, hey, I really enjoyed your video as well. Well done. Good race. And so he was pointing out that I was, for most times, at the beginning of the group, in the front end of that particular group, while he was trying to stick towards the back end of that very group. And then he was explaining to me that the that the draft at the back end is still significantly better than if you had like 1 or 2 people in front of you. And then I tried to explain that it happened a couple of times to me that, when I was at the back end of the group, and then to my surprise, it was like a little kicker that I lost the group due to that. If I was at the beginning or front of the group, then I would see the kicker coming. I would see how the first 2-3 people pull away from me, and I could put in an effort to stay within the group just a little bit earlier. And that little bit earlier really helped with staying with the group. But so what do we learn from this? First of all, read the race description. Read up on the course that you're on. And try to preserve some weight, some power towards the back end of the group. Let me put out the little jab at, there's a sprint. Okay, so we have a chance for another power up. A little jab at Ollie from GCN, who seemed to have missed reading his race document for the recent GCN battle, world champion of GCN. He would have probably been quite good, but didn't read that the elimination race would eliminate a rider each half lap, and so he thought that it would only be each lap, and so he dangled off the back of the group and was eliminated first, where he was probably one of the stronger riders by his wattage or his power numbers that he currently has. Anyways, was still a fantastic watch. So maybe if I figure out how YouTube works with all of its settings, I might actually put a link to that particular video, because it was really fun. It ended up being two GCN UK presenters fighting against, I'm not quite sure, the French? No, I think he's a Spaniard. A previous pro peloton rider. I forgot his name, but he was putting some crazy numbers out. I think he came up to like 14 watts per kilo or higher than that, and he won the final sprint against Connor, and it was such a nice video. So yeah, I really do love watching GCN with all of their different shows, from race coverage to the tech show to just general updates. Yeah, just really watch it. Highly recommend it. Fun people as well. And what really shines through to me is that they seem to get along with one another quite nicely, which is just so nice to see. So if you feel like this is a nice coherent group, or may I say tight group of friends sharing their interest in cycling, it's just so nice. Anyways, just trying to swipe some sweat off. Before plugging myself back in to the matrix. So let's see where we are with regards to power. Okay, we are now at 1.8 watts per kilo. No, hold on, not 1.8. I was lying. We had 132 watts, which is 1.7 something. Yeah. My apologies. Didn't mean to lie to you. All right. So let's see. A couple of meters. Then we will have done a third of this course already. Heart rate is also bang in the middle of zone 2, which is fantastic. So we, again, will try to stay at zone 2 for as long as we can. And if towards the end I feel like, sprint effort or something, then I certainly will try. But yeah, if not, then this should also be okay. All right, so maybe at 42 minutes, we had about a third done, which means 2 hours and 6 for the whole distance. But we haven't yet done a third of the climbing, so we might get a little bit slower. Yeah, so next week I will focus on, let's give a right on here. Next week I will focus on finishing the Tour de Zwift, the stages that I haven't done yet, which is four stages, 1, 3, 4, and 6. Try to catch up with those. But I will probably only choose the short ones, because for all of these I'm pretty sure I have done the routes before, have unlocked the route badges. If not, then I might just pick the medium one or even the long one if I haven't unlocked that particular route. Also next week, the big foothill loop is gonna be with the Robo Pacer Miguel, who is going around at 1.8 watts per kilo, which is very close to what I'm putting out right now, which means this could be a very nice zone 2 ride, plus a route badge, plus the XP points it comes with, plus some, I think 700 meters or so of climbing. So also try to do that at some point next week. And then next weekend, I will be traveling, so I won't be on the bike for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and possibly Monday even. Yeah, but then I will try to get back into it the first day I'm back. Yeah, here are the wiggly bits. Now I'll try to refill my drink that usually leads to some accidents. Aye. All right. Could have been worse. Dropped a little bit of water, but not too bad. I have a mat laying on the floor, so, and some towels on top to absorb all the sweat. Yeah, wiggly bit's almost done. And then if we turn right at the bottom of the hill, then there should be another sprint coming up. So we'll see. We might actually turn left. But I won't be able to tell you until we get there. Simply because I didn't pay attention to the map. Okay. So let's see. Well, oh, so we go towards the left. Okay. Towards Mont Ventoux. But we are definitely not climbing the whole of Mont Ventoux because there's only 400 something odd vertical meters here. And Ventop, the whole route of Ventop is more than 1500 meters. And I was told that this is a nasty climb. But yeah, I guess I'll find out soon because I'll definitely try to look into that very, very soon. All right, I'm going to use the aero boost here because it seems like in the far distance there at the end of the road, it seems to be kicking up. And at that point, the aero becomes essentially useless, at least at the speeds that I'm doing uphill. Oh, and we get a new one. I did not know that. Ah, fantastic. Oh, fantastic. I didn't even see an arch or anything. Ah, that's great. Yeah. Thank you very much, Zwift. Much appreciated. We'll put that feather to good use. Well done, Sato. Well done. Keep on going. Ooh. Well done, AK. Solid power up the hill here. All right. Yeah, I've been on this part of the course before on one of the other two routes that I did here in France already, other than the RGV. I think one was called Roulet Ma Poulet. Again, I so apologize for butchering those words and your beautiful language if you're French. and there was another one, Douchy something, don't remember. And one of those two had this part or this section on its course. I just remembered that I have so many data screens on my watch, and I usually toggle between those different screens, but just realized that I had made one where the 2 or 3 data that I'm actually interested in, heart rate, what zone I'm in, how close I am to the next one, what my power is, And what my average power is? Yeah, I have that all on one screen, so no need to toggle. But at my age, you know, you're getting forgetful, and yeah, I'm pretty sure the next ride I will still do toggle between those different screens, not realizing that the main parameters are shown on one particular screen. But what else? We're all getting older. Trying our best, you know, to stay fit, do our thing. So yeah, coming back to the different levels here on Zwift. I'm on level 29. That just happened a couple of days ago, and yeah, you can see that we are maybe probably less than 10% in, or around 10% maybe, on our way to level 30. 20,000 XP points required to reach level 30, which is 1,000 kilometers. But if we do finish this ride, there will be 1,200 XP points awarded, you know, which means just for finishing this ride, you get like 6% of what's needed for the next level. And riding those 61 kilometers will also give us the same amount of XP. So in one ride, we essentially do 12 or so, 12, 13% of the XP required, which is nice. And I'm not sure how long France is on the rotation here, so I might actually do the other 60 something odd kilometer ride tomorrow, which would then mean, you know, you double that and you're almost a quarter of the for that level already done. But at some point you will run out of routes to do, and then it's all about riding kilometers. Nothing else matters. All right, in the far distance I can see the summit, the arch on the left. So we'll wait until we hit the slope higher than, let's say, 7-8%. Before using the power up. All right, 8%. Yeah, I'm not sure if it's going to get any worse. So let's just use it now. Be done with it. So we have been riding for a little over an hour, which means I need to change my songs. I listen to those remixes from DJ Regard, and those ones that I haven't listened to yet, they're usually about 1 hour long. Okay. Okay, I need to send a ride on. There you go. Man, this person is sprinting at 4 watts per kilo. All right. All right. So getting up to the KOM. After that, if I remember correctly, there's a long run down back to the village. Let's see what we pick up. Draft boost. That's nice. Yeah, I remember that one of those 2 other rides in France actually ended at the KOM. And then I just took all the way down to the village. I took as free XP points. And I remember it was quite long. I want to say more than 2K. We'll see. Anyways, so the good thing is you'll see the XP point at the kilometers clicking coming down and XP points increasing. There is another one right there. 20 XP. Every little helps. Also, I like to keep a little bit of pressure on the pedals because this is not a race. We don't need to rest. Essentially, I like to keep the power relatively consistent throughout the ride. Yeah. And another 20 XP points coming up. There you go. 30k done. I really love the moment when you reach half of your the distance, which is coming up in a couple of 100 meters. Going downhill here with 50k also helps with our average speed. So, half done. So from here on out, we are just getting closer and closer to the finish and ticking off more and more K. Always feels nice when 50% is done. So we'll still not participate in any sprints just yet. We're still quite far away from the finish line, and the main goal is distance, route batch, staying in zone 2 for as long as we can, and doing an intermediate sprint here would be very counterproductive to all of these goals. But I think it is time for the stylish headband. I would like for you to focus on the fashion statement I'm making right now, because black pants, dark gray shirt, light gray headband. If that's not something, I don't know what is. Okay. Yeah, we briefly slipped into zone 3. I just wanted to check, because one of the data screens just gives you the percentages, and it was showing the heart rate zone as 2.9, 2.9, 3.0. And then I wasn't quite sure if this already counts as zone 3. It should, but and it did. So well done, Garmin. Love you more and more. Thank you, Mr. or Mrs. Wealth from Germany. Thanks for the ride-on. Much appreciated. Hope you're having a lovely day. Oh, it seems like we are actually going towards the... Okay, I'll use my draft boost now, because we are going up to the KOM, to the aqueduct, and there's not going to be much time to use it. I guess we could have used it on the plateau of the KOM, of the aqueduct. That might have been smarter. But yeah, in a race, this might have been a missed opportunity. Here, it will only make a difference of an absolute fraction of a watt over the whole 2-hour ride. Or let's see how long this ride is going to be. Okay, here's where the KOM starts. Again, would have been a nice place to actually go full throttle. You'll see that my ghost avatar will probably sprint off. Oh, no. Oh, I think I know why. Because coming from this side, I think this was a pure recovery ride, where I stayed in zone 1 for the whole ride, which means that the power was much less than today. Although today is nothing to write home about, but it's still more than last time around. Hence, us being faster than our ghost avatar. Yeah, here, this part on the aqueduct is perfectly flat. So we could have used our drafting boost here. And would have maybe had even a little bit more speed coming down the other side. But yeah. Okay, we got an aero bar. So Mr. or Mrs. Graph just gave us a ride on. I'm sure they're going to catch up with us soon. And then they will, of course, also get a ride on. Oh, look at those lavender fields here on the left. Beautiful. I can virtually smell them. And let me tell you, it's a much better smell than here in my pain cave. So the first one is coming by now. Yeah, right on for you. Mr. or Mrs. Graf is next. Coming. Oh, there you go. You get a right on as well. Oh, maybe it took before. Oh, I need to use my arrow boost in order to get the new one. So what are we getting? 250 XP maybe? Nope. We get the small one, 10. But again, every little helps. Sorry. Yeah, the person here to our left, Mr. or Mrs. Graf, judging by the avatar, I would assume Mr. is sporting a level 15 Zwift kit, which makes me believe that he is somewhere between level 15 and maybe level 20. I'm not sure if there's a kit for level 20. I'm pretty sure there's one for level 25 and for 30. But I'm not sure about level 20. But either way, well done. Hope you'll climb the levels very quickly and you have fun doing it. So less than 25k. That always seems like a distance that, yeah, I should always be able to do, at least at, low power. But a 25k race, yeah, those can be extremely tough. That's why I'm focusing at the moment more on the really short ones, sub 10, or I should say maybe sub 15k. Yeah, I also seem to be doing pretty well in those. Made a couple of podiums on the C category, but to be honest, there were often not that many people on those races. And actually, when I still had a decent position, like, you know, in the top 10. I then later realized that I was actually in the right group that was fighting for the podium. But while I was riding, I thought this is a fight for, you know, places 8 to 15, and I didn't really feel like it's worth it to fight for it. Although even that is stupid, because on Zwift Power you get awarded points for each place. It depends on, yeah, there's a complicated calculation for this, but it actually does make a difference, or it can make a difference, whether you come in 8s or 12s. So you should always, if you have it in you, always fight for each place if you're interested in climbing the ladder on Z points or in Zwift Power rankings. It's not that I want to pull away from Graf, our German compatriot here, but I saw that we were in a little bit of a lull, and that it took effect on the average power, and I do want to keep it above 130. So that's why I just put a little bit of power down. My apologies to Mr. and Mrs. A. Graf. It had nothing to do with sprinting away from you or not willing to giving you a wheel. I would always lend someone a wheel. I know there are a lot of people here who don't like that. If you stay on someone's wheel, but I couldn't care less. But it was really that I wanted to make sure that the average power is not going to drop. And BNG, probably on the same route as we are. Well done, mate. Close to 3 watts per kilo. With a very, very similar total kilometers, which makes me believe that he's also on the same route, where I only feel somewhat confident to pronounce the first word, Petit. But the second one. All right, we made it. Finished 310K for this week. Great. Lots of those were actually in races. Probably the most I have done ever since starting Zwifting. Yeah, so on yesterday's ride, Cycle Nation, I think it was about this time, beginning of the 40s kilometer, like 41, maybe 45, where I started seeing some cracks in the armor. That is my endurance. Oh, he flew by. Mr. and Mrs. Martin at 5 watts per kilo. Well done. The guy from Belgium. Well done. So today it still feels okay. But by this time yesterday I was already deep in zone 3. And once you're in there, there's essentially no way back. Especially when when the power of the group remains the same. Here, it's very easy. I can just take it back a notch. I can just, make sure that my heart rate goes back down to, let's say, 130, which should happen rather quickly. Yeah, there we are. And then we are back in the middle of zone 2. But in a race or even in a group ride, you don't have that luxury. All right, less than 20K to go, which means that we have done already 2/3 of the total ride. Okay. Yeah, still keeping an eye on the absolute power, or average power, I should say. Still seems to come down. A TT rider, Mr. or Mrs. Reinke. Well done. I'm actually not quite sure if I can draft off a TT. Yeah, I'm actually thinking about using Source for Zwift. Because there you would also get information about how much power you save while drafting. And this would probably be of quite some help during doing a race, when you can see which position in the peloton yields the best power savings. Another thing on Source for Zwift is that in races you would see the different groups, like how far they're behind or ahead of you, what power are they putting out. And yeah, that of course is also prime data, prime information for you to figure out if it's worth or if it's even possible, to jump to the group ahead, or if you're caught between groups, how long it would take for the next group to catch up. It will allow you to time your spinning up to perfection, so that, as happened to me multiple times, you don't miss the group that comes from the back, from behind, because you didn't speed up in time. Ooh, little right on. Yeah, speaking of ride-ons, feel free to connect with me on Zwift. And in the meantime, send me a YouTube ride-on, also known as a thumbs up. That would be much appreciated. Maybe even consider subscribing and turning on notification, so that you'll be notified once I upload a new video, which should happen a couple of times per week. I aim at maybe 5 on average. So okay, so now I see that I actually ran out of my gray headbands. But luckily, when you're keeping everything in one color, then black, gray, black still works. Oops. Okay, this is done. Let's put the next bottle up. All right. So this Ghost Rider seems to be very close to the power that we are putting out. So let's maybe try to catch up and overtake him, just so that we have another personal best on this particular route. All right. Let's see. Oh, okay. We're getting another arrow helmet. Very nice. So hopefully we'll be ending on a sprint, because then I will definitely try to go for it. But there's definitely at least one more significant climb. Okay, so we are coming down here to Wiggly Bits. Okay, so we are going up the KOM aqueduct one more time. So we can either use the arrow on the way to the aqueduct, which is through the Wiggly Bits, which are up and down. So this might not be the perfect choice. So let's try to hang on to this until we hit the aqueduct itself, and where the banner is, because that is perfectly flat. We can use the arrow there, and then hopefully use a little bit of the aero benefits on the way down. Okay, so I missed the point to say that we have 3/4 done. That was almost 2K ago. So now the next one is with 12.3 kilometers left. We will have only 20% left, so 80% done. So let's see when that happens. My guess is in the next 3 minutes or so. Yeah, we are on the upper end of the zone 2. Every now and then bouncing in and out of the of zone 3. And I think we deserve one more towel. Because this one is definitely wrenched. Always feels nice if you have something new, dry, to wipe your sweat off. Yeah, so this bit here in both directions is quite tricky, because it makes you coming the other way. Having done the KOM, it gives you the false sense of security on being on a downhill only, but that's not quite the case. It is wiggly not only side to side, but also up and down. So all of this here that we are now at minus 3% coming from the other side, it's obviously 3%. And so you definitely need to keep some pressure on the pedals at all times. Mr. or Mrs. Hempel is closing in. Oh, and we received the write-on from him or her. Thank you so much, buddy. Here's one for you. Much appreciated. Yeah, no interest in sticking with him or her. By the way, if I sometimes forget or just assume that the person next to me or just overtaking me is male or female, please don't make a big deal about it. I of course have no intentions to make anyone mad or not address them by their preferred pronouns, but yeah, I essentially just roll the dice. If the avatar looks male, I might just refer to the person as a male, but if he or she or it refers to themselves as something else, my apologies. No bad intentions here. I might not understand what what that means, but I also think it shouldn't matter if a person wants to be addressed in a certain way. Then I think it's their right to be addressed a certain way, and if they kindly request it, then why not oblige? It doesn't take anything away from you, and yeah. To each their own. All right, that got awfully political. All right, now I missed the point where I should have pointed out that we are done with 80% of the ride. So, oh, I forgot. I apologize. Here's your ride-on. Ali Sinan from Turkey, it seems, on the road for 3.5 kilometers so far. Probably doing a warm-up. Have fun there. Hope you're enjoying your day out and about here in this beautiful French countryside. Okay. Massive props to Nakamura on a TT bike. You can actually tell that they are doing a workout, as shown by this bar graph next to the time that they are now ahead, 3 seconds. And this little phone next to that means that they're also using the companion app, same as me. This little steering wheel next to my phone just means that I don't know how or why, but I can use steering. So I'll show you. I have here on the Kicker bike, I have some buttons that will go left and right. So yeah, I'm not sure. Sometimes it's enabled, sometimes it's not. No idea how that is decided. But yeah, it makes the games just a little bit more interactive. So less than 9K. Yeah, this little power surge and me drinking something put us again into zone 3. Ooh, so there's a sprint coming up. Nice. Oh, that's a very short sprint. Yeah, that one I could maybe go for, because it is very short. But there's still 8.5K to go. Not quite sure. Let's see if we can make out where the finish line is. And okay, now I see the finish line. Yeah, why not? Let's maybe go for it. It's very short, so let's just crank up the speed here. And see what we can do when we reach there we go. Oh, 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 oh. Ah, we did get the green jersey. Oh, oh, oh. And I didn't even finish putting power down all the way to the end. So max power according to Garmin was 711. But I really did not sprint all the way. I faded because just by myself it's very tough to time the sprint, that you optimize the power up you have, the speed with which you start, and yeah. Oh, anyhow, all right, that was fun.
All right, so a little sprint effort. Just before the end, which put us all the way, I think, to zone 5 heart rate. And now we are back in zone 3. And I'll try to bring the heart rate back down. And here comes the fellow Dane. I know I'm not Danish, but in heart I am. So greetings to you. Henriksen. You know that this Fen at the end of the last name stands for son. So in the old days, when you had someone whose name is like his, Henrik, then the son would get the last name Henriksson, meaning that he's the son of Henrik. And then let's say his name is Magnus, so he would then be Magnus Henriksson. When he grows up and has children of his own, then they had gotten in the past the name Magnusson as their last name. But I'm not sure when, but that was put to rest at some point, because it is easier to have a family where everyone in the family carries the same last name. And yeah, so it was abolished at some point. Not sure about when, but yeah, I thought it was always very interesting to have, yeah, people taking on their father's first name with an SEN at the end as their last name. So I feel like there's maybe one more sprint coming up, because it's only 2.7 K to the KOM, and we are already on the KOM, as I can see my ghost avatar behind me, which means that we are already on the segment that belongs to the KOM, which means there is less than 2.7 K to the summit, or in this case to the Petit summit, but we have 5.3 K to go, which means that we're probably descending on the other side and finishing down in the valley, where I think there's a sprint. So if it's not too long of a sprint, we might go for it. Yeah, for using our feather, we will again wait until the incline is, like 8% or so. MQC flying by us. Well done. GCN. A Kent. Also probably on the same route as us. Same distance. Well done. Well done, you. Woolrich, South Africa. Yeah, I think there will be plenty of people overtaking us now. We are still in zone 3. Yeah, our Italian friend Vereccia is probably also going to get us before the KOM. Same as Farkas from, I want to say, Hungary. I don't think that I've ever had the green jersey. I think there was one time when I put out like whatever the shortest time interval is on Zwift Power. I think it's 5 seconds. I put out more than 10 watts per kilo, and that was on a recovery ride where there was a final sprint similar to here. I'm not sure. I think it was an hour or so. I don't think it was distance. I think it was an hour at, you know, sub 2 watts per kilo. And then on the final sprint, I was able to catch the wheel of someone who had a really, really nice build-up. And yeah, then flew by him on the last couple of meters. But I don't think I was awarded with the green shirt. Oh, it might have been because maybe there was somebody else on the same segment that day that had a faster time. That might be. Anyways, so here we're coming from the other side up to the KOM. So 1, 2, 3 more bends. So come on, kick up to 6-7%, and we can use the power up. Yeah, I always have plenty of drinks at hand because I never know for how long I'm gonna ride. And yeah, now I'm quite sure that I won't do 100k today, but if it had happened, then I wanted to be prepared. All right, let's just use the power up here. All right, one more left turn. There we can see the finish line. Okay, so that's also good to remember that just before the KOM, this last little part also has 7-8%, where it's good to still have the feather. Two ride-ons for you guys, Farkas and Bereccia. All right. There we are. Yeah, from this side, the climbing extends a little beyond the finish banner. And now we have an arrow, which is very nice for a potential sprint to the finish line. Yeah, this is the way we came from. So I think this is the, I don't know, Marina sprint maybe? I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, we are getting closer and closer to the to have that route done. And then I think I will call it a day, at least for this. I might actually get on the bike later again for like some race, if there's a very short race on. All right, so now we have only 5% left of the distance, and most of it seems to be downhill. So yeah, let's see, that's how it's a little deceiving. All the calculations in the first half of the course indicated we might be done in like 2 hours, just over 2 hours, to 5 to 6. But then those climbs, they definitely slow you down, and even at constant power, change your average speed. Yeah, Marina sprint reverse. Okay, so we'll do that because again, only 190 meters. So that's very short, and our best time is 11:80, which is, I think, tough to beat today because we have no lead out. But let's see if we can muscle through. What's important is to keep an eye out for the banner. Oh, okay. Okay. So let's then try to build up some speed. So I go into the big ring in the front. I recently changed from a 2x to a 3x. So I'm on the big ring in the front, and then we'll try to shift through the cogs on the rear wheel to pick up speed and eventually go for a full-out sprint. So 1 kilometer to the sprint. Seems to be a little bit of a kick here. Okay, it's 0, so no gradient. So I think we go straight. Yeah, last time we came here from the right. I think we go straight, and then after the next intersection, it's essentially go time. Okay, let's build. Ah. 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 Ooh. Ah. Ooh. Nowhere near our best time. 1.5 seconds off. But again, no lead out train. Getting up to speed all by yourself, quite tough. Ooh. But I would really like to know what kind of power I had on this front. It was not 7-11 as before, otherwise my watch would show me. Okay, so we'll just spin our legs. And then we'll stop at 63K. But yeah, if you enjoy these kinds of rides, looking at different routes, getting some commentary on the route, on life, on biking, let me know. Yeah, I do appreciate you sticking around. Even if you skip through the video, that's fine. I'll probably try to make some markers. Sorry, to make some markers on the video so you know roughly where I am on the course. But yeah, so for now, just remember, ride hard, have fun, tight. So tight cycling out. Have a lovely Sunday, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.